All right, good morning, everyone. Mr. Wayne here once again to kind of talk to you about your week 6 overview on what we are doing this week in Earth Science. At this point, your teacher should have uploaded into Schoology, into OneNote, your week 6 items, so you should be able to view this and follow along as we go through this recording. So the first item, just like normal, is we have the graph analysis at the top. If you double check your checklist for the week, just like every other time throughout this entire year, this has a nice layout of what you're doing, how it looks, and the different things that we're going to be accomplishing this week. So, for the items that are at home, so Packers Monday, Tuesday, Austin Thursday, Friday. If you're at home, you're obviously going to be overviewing this week 6 overview video. The other item is you're going to be completing the graph analysis and answering the questions that correspond with it. This image here is a nice representation of the different temperature changes that occur within our atmospheric layers. The biggest theme or the biggest thing that you guys should notice with this trend is as you increase in elevation, so as you go further and further into space, or as you go further and further away from Earth, our temperature decreases, increases, decreases, increases. So there is a unique trend, and something that you should notice is that these temperatures change at certain points in the atmospheric layers, normally between boundaries between the two different atmospheric layers. So just like normal, there's some questions that correspond with that graph that follow along. The next item for completing at home is there are notes that are the energy transfer notes. With this, there is a tutorial. There's a link for you to follow to go with that corresponds with the 3 broad terms of energy transfer of conduction, convection, and radiation. These 3 terms are the 3 terms that associate with all types of heat transfer in and on our planet and even our universe. So heat can be transferred either through the form of conduction, either through the form of convection, or through the form of radiation. And some of these terms you might have already heard from other lessons that we've had throughout the year, or some of these might be a new concept. But the notes here, follow this tutorial guide, this link up here at the top of the page, and this will help you fill out your notes and label the diagram at the bottom of your page. The last item to do at home is there's the completing processing activity, which is the methods of heat transfer, which if you click over here, is kind of this nice little worksheet, this little visual illustration of different forms of heat transfer. So as a reminder, you have your definition for convection, your definition for conduction, and your definition for radiation. So conduction is direct touch or contact. Convection is the movement of gas or liquids through heating it. So most of the time, that's where you see warm air rise, cold air sink. And then you have radiation, which is heat transfer through electromagnetic waves, such as what we feel from our sun. So on this diagram, on this image, as you go through it, you have different forms of heat transfer that you might observe in these pictures. So go ahead and you'll be writing down the term or the type of heat transfer that can occur. Now, some of these images can have more than one answer. So they can have more than one answer. So for example, one of the ones I like to look here is you have your grilling here on the grill. Well, depending on the picture that you see here, the main answer for this one is conduction. What you are grilling on that grill is meat, and that's coming in direct contact with the heat source. However, you do have some convection where warm air is rising, cold air is entering and kind of gets heated as a result. And there's a little bit of heat that you can feel getting pushed off from that as well. So some of these can have more than one answer. And then as you continue down, you are given illustrations or sentences or different examples that might occur with heat transfer. All you need to do is write down once again, is that conduction, convection, or radiation for those examples. And that is it for your processing activity. Now, for things that we are going to be doing here in school. On day one, your bell work. Oh, let me click on the right one. There is a video that's looking at independent and dependent variables and what those are and how they correspond with science. And so as you're watching that video, we'll be filling in this chart about what is an independent, what is a dependent, and what is a control. And then we're going to be identifying the variables within that Mythbusters video. And then down below, there's a couple other things that we'll be looking at as well with that video. The other item, or the other two items that we're going to be working on is the online lab and the online lab paper, which is through our Gizmo activity. So there is the Explore Learning, where you're going to be interacting with a Gizmo activity, and then there's that summarizing portion as well. And this will be further explained in class with your teachers going on this week. As a reminder, if you are submitting work via OneNote, please email your teachers. As I mentioned before in the other videos, we don't get notifications if you submit something on OneNote. So you have to make sure you email us, otherwise we will not know that you've submitted something. Otherwise, believe it or not, our quarter is slowly winding down. We are kind of on the back half of the quarter now. We're on the downward hill. So try to keep up, try to catch up on any missing work if you have anything, so you don't fall behind and get yourself in a position where you are scrambling that last week. Otherwise, have a wonderful week, and we'll see you at school.